This video will be covering Module 7, Creating Custom Reports. It can be found on page AC 435 of your textbook. Again, I'm covering Module 7, Creating Custom Reports. I will be completing the review assignment on page AC 435. You will need the same database that we worked with for Module 5 and 6 called Supplier. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And if you need to, you can pause this until you can find Supplier and then open it up and start the video again. So step 1, open the Supplier database you worked with in previous 2 modules, which I did. Modify the report support details report by completing the following steps. So I'm going to go down and find that report. Again, it's called Report Supplier Details, and I'm going to open it up in Design View. Okay, I'm going to close the property sheet for now. Probably will have to open it up later, but it says Step 2A, change the report title to Riverview Supplies. So I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to highlight the current name in there and replace it with Riverview space suppliers, and then click outside of it. Step 2B, remove the alternate row color from the detailed lines in the report. So I'm going to click on the bar that says detail. Okay, then I can go to the property sheet by clicking on property sheet right here. And where it says format, alternate back color, I'm going to say no color. No color for alternate back color. Step 2C, change the first column heading to Supplier ID with a space. So I click there on the label control in my page header section, click between the R and the I, and hit my space bar. To put a space between supplier and ID, and then just click outside the control. Change the 5th column heading to first name. So here I'm actually going to highlight contact first and replace it with first name. And then I'm going to click here on contact last, highlight it, and do last name, and click outside. Again, I'm working on the controls that are in the page header section, not the detailed section. The detailed section are directly linked to your table, and those names need to remain there because those are field names. So change them in the page header section. Okay, step 2D. In the report footer section, add a grand total count of the number of supplies that appear in the report. Make sure the calculated control box has a transparent border and left align the count with the left edge of the company name field value box. Left align the count value in the calculated control box. All right, so what I need to do first, and I'm not going to worry about lining it up yet, I have to click on the text box up here. So I click on the text box, and then I click down in the report footer section. It's the report footer section that will allow me to get a grand total. It's in that section that causes it to get me the grand total. That's really important. You don't want it in the page footer. You want it in the report footer so you get a grand total. Okay? So I'm going to click where it says unbound, and I'm going to type in there equals count, open parenthesis, square bracket. I'm going to do it on supplier ID field. Close my square bracket, close my parenthesis. So again, it's equals count, open parenthesis, square bracket, the field name Supplier ID, there's no space between the R and the I, close your square bracket, close your parenthesis. Okay, now let me read it again. In the report footer section, add a grand total count of the number of suppliers that appear in the report. Make sure the calculated control box has a transparent border. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to border style where it says solid, and I'm going to change it to transparent. I'm doing that in the property sheet for the control that I just typed equals count. Okay, border style transparent. It then says in the report footer section, add a grand total count of the number of suppliers that appear in the report. Make sure the calculated control box has a transparent border, and left align the count with the left edge of the company field value box. So I want to move this over so that it is lined up with the company right there. Now I'm going to use the left square so that this box doesn't move with it. I'm going to use this box and drag it over and line it up with company. So I'm using the little box here to bring this control over only. Okay? Let's see. Left align the count value, so I also want this to be left aligned. So I want to make sure I'm on that. I go to Format and click Left Align. Let's see if we've done everything. In the report footer section, add a grand total count of the number of supplies that appear in the report. Make sure the calculated control box has a transparent border, and left align the count with the left edge of the company name field value box. Left align the count value in the calculated control box. Okay, I think I got all of that. Step 2E, add a label that contains the text suppliers to the left of the count of the total number of suppliers. Align to the left margin and align with the bottom of the count calculated control box. So this right here, that currently says text 68, I'm going to highlight that and replace it with suppliers. Suppliers with a colon. Okay, now let's add a label that contains the text suppliers to the left of the count of the total number of suppliers. Align to the left margin, which it is, and align with the bottom of the count calculated control box. So it is. Okay. Step 2F, set the margins to normal. So I have to go to page setup, and I'm going to go to margins and set it to normal here. Page setup under report design tools. Adjust the width grid to 7.8 inches. Okay, now this is going to cause an issue because I've got this control here that is way out here, and therefore I'm not going to be able to set it to 7.8. So I'm going to have to move this control over, and I'll deal with that in a minute because they're going to tell me what to do with it in a second. But I want to move that over so that I can move the rest of this over. Now, if I try to move this, okay, I'm going to go over to where I see the far right edge. If I attempt to move this, it won't let me go any farther than, say, 13.5 inches. And that's because it thinks it sees some controls here. When you click here, you'll see that you have some things here that it thinks it is using, which it's not. So we're going to hit delete, and we're going to do that until we get that to completely go away. There we go. And now what we can do for the entire report is change the width to 7.8. It will allow me to do that now. And there we go. All right. Now that's tricky because we didn't actually physically see those or visibly see those. We had to click there to actually see it. So, all right. Move the page number control to the left until it is one grid dot to the left of the right margin. So they want this to be moved again. I'm going to move it to so that it is one column of dots to the right there. And then I'm going to go to Format and right align it. So let me read this. Move the page number control to the left until it is one grid dot to the left of the right margin. Right align the page number value to the control box. Okay, we got it. After you've completed, and I'm on step 3. After you've completed and saved your modification to the report supplier details report, filter the report in report view, selecting all records that contain the word supplies in the company field. All right, so I'm going to go to home so that I can go to view and report view. And for company, I'm going to right click and go to text filters and contains. And I'm going to type in supplies and click OK. And it retrieves just the 9 suppliers that have the word supplies in it. It says, copy the headings and detailed lines of the filter report and paste it into a new Word document. Save the document as supplies in the location where you're storing your files. Close Word, save changes to the asset report, and then close it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to select all, select all. I'm going to go to copy. Then I'm going to open up Word, blank document, and paste. Okay, then I can save this, file, save as, and they want me to call it supplies. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. We'll call it supplies. And click save. I can then close Word and close my report and save changes. Okay. Step 4, create a query. So we're going to go to create, query design, that displays the company and category fields from the table supplier and the product name, price, and units from the table product. So I need to bring in both tables. Okay. I need company and category from the supplier table. And I need product name, price, and units from the product table. Sort in ascending order by the first 3 fields. So ascending, ascending, and ascending. Save the query as QRY supplier products. Click OK, and I'm going to go ahead and close it. They don't say to close it, but I will close it. Okay. Step 5. Create a custom report based on the query that we just created. Figure 7-38 shows a sample of the completed report. Refer to the figure as you create the report. Distribute the fields horizontally to produce a visually balanced report. All right. So I'm going to turn the page now to AC 436, and there's the figure for me to try to get this to look comparable to. So I'm going to go to Create, Blank Report. Create, Blank Report. Now, I have to specify, because over here under Field List, it says just show all tables. So I have to specify that I want to use the query, not a table. So I go to Property Sheet, and for the data, I'm going to go to the record source and drop the arrow down and pick the query we just created called QRY Supply Products. Now, if you don't have the property sheet wide enough, it's very difficult to see these names. So that's why you might want to make the property sheet much wider in order to see the names of the items. And there it is. I'm going to click on that to specify that's the one I want to use. Then I go to Add Existing Fields, and those are the fields coming from my query. Okay, step A, we're going to save this report right off the bat, and we're going to call it RPT Products Available. and click OK. Step B, use the category field. Okay, first of all, I want to bring my fields over to look exactly or very close to the figure. So the first field is product name. So I'm going to double click on product name and it throws it over for me. Then I'm going to bring in company, double click. Then I'm going to bring in price. And even though I can't see it, I'm going to add the other two. So I'm going to double click on product name and then units. Okay, again, even though I don't see those in the figure. Use the category field from the table supplier table as a grouping field and use the company field from the table supplier table as a sort field. So I have to click, if you're not seeing add a group and add a sort down here, that is controlled by this button on your Report Layout Tools Design ribbon. So click that if you need to, and where it says add a group, we're going to click there, and we're going to select the category as our grouping. Okay? And then we're going to pick, for add a sort, we're going to pick company. Okay. I'm going to close my field list for right now. I might need to open it later, but there we go. Okay. Step C, hide duplicate values for the company field. So they don't want to see it duplicated. So like pet medical, we don't want to do that. So we're going to click on one of these, go back to the property sheet. Sorry about that. And I'm going to go to the All tab. So click on company, go to the All tab of your property sheet. And if you scroll down, you'll see an option that will say hide duplicates. And you want to change that from a no to a yes. And duplicates do not get shown. That was C. D, keep the whole group together on one page. If I go back to my group category and I click the More button, I can say keep the group together on one page option right there. Okay? Again, you have to go to your group, not the sort, the group, go to the More button and choose the option down here of keep whole group together on one page. E, remove the borders from the field value box. Now, I tried to do this earlier and it would not allow me to do this for whatever reason. But what we need to do is we need to go to the Format tab and select all. We don't want borders around any of these, okay? And I should see over here in my property sheet back, but I don't. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to save this, and it says to also go back to Design View in the instructions, but even then I didn't see it. So I'm going to go to Home, View, and Design View, and bring up my property sheet. And again, if I go to Format, Select All, again, I do not see the option that I should be looking for, which is Border Style. I don't know why. But if I go to each one of these individually, so I'll click on product name, for example. If I scroll up now, I do have border style that I can change to transparent. And I'm going to do that for each and every one of my controls. Change it from solid to transparent. Again, I should not have to do this for each one individually. I should be able to do it for all of them selected, but for whatever reason, I cannot get that to work. So I'm just going to choose each one individually. Again, not a big deal. Just adds a minute or two to my day. That's okay. Okay. Looks like all of these are already transparent, so we're okay there. Okay. Step F, remove the alternate row color from the group header and detailed line. So my group header is this category header. Okay. Alternate row color, I don't want one, so I'm going to say no color, and I'm going to do the same thing for detail. Click on the detail bar, alternate row color, which is under my format ribbon, no color. G, add a page title called Products Available. So what I have to do is add a little bit more room to my page header section. So I'm going to click at the top of the category header, get that line with 2 arrows, and drag down just a little bit. And then I'm going to select all of my headings. And I do that by clicking below category, holding down the left side of my mouse, make an imaginary box, draw up, and that will select them all for me. So now I can move them all together and bring them down so that I have room to put a title up here. Okay? And I might choose to make a little bit more room even. So I'm just going to redo what I just did there, but bring them down even a little bit further. And I'm going to add a title now. And the title is going to be called Products Available. So I do that by going to the Report Design Tools Design ribbon and clicking my label tool, the AA. We used that in the previous chapter. I click here in the report header, and I'm going to type Products Available. Now it says add a page title, Products Available, using 18-point font centered horizontally. So I actually want this centered across my entire form. Now I'm going to close my product property sheet yet again. Okay. I'm also going to change this so that it only goes over to 6.5 inches on my ruler, which I don't have. Actually, we're going to just do this because we removed the margins earlier. So we're going to go to 8.5 on that. Okay. Now to center this horizontally, we don't have a center button necessarily. Now if you go to Format, we have a center button, but it centers it only within that control. So if you want it centered across the entire form, what you have to do is size your box so that is the entire width of your report. Now hit the center button, and that will center it right in the middle of your form. Little trick there. Now they want us to change the font size of this also to 18 point. So on the Format ribbon, change it to 18. And I'm going to double click on the far right edge. That does an auto fit for me. And there we go. Perfect. Step H, apply a text filter for companies that contain supplies in the company name. Okay. Add a text filter. Text filter. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this in Report View. So I'm going to go to Home, View, Report View. And I'm going to do, it says add a text filter for companies that contain supplies. So I'm going to go to Company, and I'm going to right click, Text Filter, Contains, kind of did this before, and I'm going to type in Supplies. Click OK, and now I'm only seeing those that are supplies, or has supplies in the company name. All right. I'm going to go ahead and save this and close it. Okay, again, I know I might be going a little bit fast, but that's the beauty of these videos is that you can always rewind it, watch it again, rewind it, watch it again as you need to. Step 6, create a mailing label report according to the following instructions. Okay, so I go to Create Labels. Create Labels. All right, it specifies in step 6B, use Avery C2160. So product number, you're looking for C2160, which is the very first one for me. And use the default font size. So if I click Next now, it wants me to use all the defaults that are currently here right now. So I just click Next to go to the next step. Okay, what would you like for your mailing labels? Well, I want to use the, let's see, It says table supplier table is the record source. All right, so it already knew that I wanted to use that. If you need to, you can back out of this again and just make sure that you're on table supplier. Then go back to create labels so that it knows that's one you want to use. C2160. We're going to accept the defaults here. Next. Okay, now we're going to create our mailing labels. It says for the prototype label, add the contact first. So we scroll down and we're looking for contact first. Hit your space bar and then contact last. That's the first line it said. Then hit enter. On the next line, we're going to do company on the second line it says. So we're going to look for company. Okay, scroll up. There's company on the second line. We're going to hit enter. The address on the third line. Hit enter. We're going to do city, comma, and then state, and then a space, and then zip. Okay, we're going to click next. It says, what do you want to sort by? We want to sort by zip according to step D, 6D. Click next, and we want to call this, so I'm going to highlight up here, we're going to call this RPT Company Mailing Labels. Click Finish. There we go. It says format the report with a 3-column across, then down page layout. So if you need to, we can come up here to where it says zoom, and we can choose, we'll just leave it as it is because it already looks like it has 3 columns across, and then down page layout. So it looks like we're good there. Okay, okay, so we're going to save these. Well, I guess we didn't have a chance to save them. That's why I didn't have save in the instructions. Okay, make a backup copy. So we're going to go to File, Save As, Backup Database, Save As. I'm going to save it on my desktop. Click Save. We're going to compact it. These are pretty common things to do. File, Compact and Repair, and then Close. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Pretty similar to creating forms. Forms and reports are very, very similar. Thank you and have a great day.